As a pretty heavy user of generative AI myself, I am affected by this next topic deeply. And let's talk about hallucinations, okay? So, when we were talking about hallucinations, the term is the erroneous confabulations the generative AI is capable of producing. And we need to be on guard every single time generative AI is used to accomplish a task. So we could ask it a simple question. We might think it's simple, and we could get an erroneous result. Okay. And in one of the demonstrations in this course, I ask, for instance, who won the best picture in 2025, and I got a result. The result was entirely wrong because the training data did not exist to improve the likelihood that it changed the right words together. But here's where it is even more problematic. Generative AI is really good at constructing words and sentences and paragraphs and even coming up with citations that look good to someone who's just reading it, but it doesn't actually mean it's real. So the concept of a hallucination is ChatGPT or whatever your generative AI tool produced just strung words together. That's all it's doing. And usually it's right. I'm going to say usually it's right if you are using it for an appropriate use case. But let's just say you're using it for something that you think is legitimate. It's still absolutely capable of getting things wrong, okay? And so every time you get a response from one of these tools, you need to take it with a grain of salt or many grains of salt, as in, don't take it on faith. You're going to have to look and validate anything you get from it, especially if it's important, okay? So I've taken you to the AI incident database. This is a place that is essentially a repository of all of the misguided or problematic things that AI has done. And so these all are tracked. And so let me take you through some headlines because we need to be on guard in our organization and our personal use to not have one of these incidents caused by actions that our organization or we personally take. So I'm just going to take you through a few hallucinations. Okay, so we're not talking about, a visual hallucination. We're talking about something that was the completion of an AI tool that is definitely not right. Okay, so plaintiff's lawyers admit AI generated erroneous case citations. This is Walmart. Okay, wow. ChatGPT produced false court case law presented by legal counsel in court. And so nowadays, a lot of times you will get a citation. Follow the citation. Don't trust that it was an actual thing, okay? So, what else? Oh, yeah. Hey, let's go to a festival. Sounds good. Let's make a trip. And there are a lot of use cases for building an itinerary for a trip. But you know what? That isn't great. And so we've seen stories of travelers that are directed to places that don't exist and getting dates wrong. That's even a smaller thing. Okay, so, that's the key. Anytime you get a response from a generative AI tool, or if it's sort of embedded in a procedure and process, you have to understand that it can get it wrong, and you have to be on guard for those and just simply not build in a mechanism or use a mechanism where you use ChatGPT or another tool and then you take it and then move along, right? You can look at the response and you have to understand that it can get it wrong. Where this becomes a bigger problem is when you cannot ascertain whether it's right or wrong. If you're an expert on a subject, like for instance, if I ask ChatGPT to write something that is technical in my discipline, which originally was IT networking and network engineering, I will be able to, if it's at least networking that once upon a time I knew, I would be able to go, yeah, that's right, or that's wrong. But if you use one of these tools and you can't make heads or tails of whether it's accurate or not, then that is a high risk scenario. And you need to understand that you could be working with a confabulation, just made up information, which is what a hallucination is. And the term confabulation is sometimes preferred by AI experts. So you have that other synonym for the term of hallucination.